everyone, Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist here. I want to shoot a quick video today to talk about the single biggest mistake that I see women with hip piriformis, sciatica type problems that causes a pain in the butt literally when they're sitting, maybe walking, sleeping, standing, whatever it may be. So if you're a woman out there and you're watching this, you have some type of glute or leg pain, that I want to share something with you that could be life-changing. That being said, what is the single biggest mistake that women make? I work with women all over the place, all over the world actually, who have these types of problems, and I see this over and over again. What is it? It's that they do everything. All right, so people out there think that doing more is somehow better, and that by doing more they will arrive at a conclusion. But this is what it ends up looking like. So when I treat women who are trying to solve their problem, right, it starts off, I went to the family doctor, and they told me to take this pill, they told me to rest, it didn't go away. I went to orthopedic doctor, they did an x-ray, an MRI, they said it was this or that, so then I got this injection, and I took this steroid, and then I went to the PT, they gave me 10 exercises. By the way, often if you go to a PT, chiropractor, massage, right, and they don't specialize in this type of treatment, you know, they're no better off. They're just as confused, and it's not your fault. It starts with the healthcare provider who you feel you should be able to trust and go to for the solution to your problem, but instead, they're the ones that lead you down a rabbit hole. If you go to PT, right, they give you a whole sheet of exercises, random stretches, you know, things to strengthen your hips. Your core is weak, right? If you go to a massage therapist, they're gonna dig real deep, thinking that if they give you more pressure, right, that will be the solution. If we just realign one other part of your body, if you go to the chiropractor or PT, then that will be your solution. So people, including healthcare providers, are thinking that the more they do, the better the chances will be that they can solve the problem. So they try to work harder to solve the problem instead of trying to work smarter. So I'm over there saying, what if we could do less, right? So you're not going to gain clarity by doing everything, right? So again, a lot of people want to do more. So, you know, they want to add. By the way, you go to the PT, right? And when a bunch of exercises don't work, what do? They keep those exercises and they add more. They just keep adding junk on top of junk. If something's not working, they just think that adding more will be the solution. So that being said, rather than doing more, we actually want to do less. So one of the first things I tell people who have any type of glute, hip, piriformis, back, sciatica type problem is to do nothing. Wise man once said, the best way to calm muddy waters is to leave it alone. First step, do nothing. Heal by subtraction, don't heal by addition. What people are trying to do is they're trying to do more, and they're trying to do more in the presence of something that they haven't even fully optimized or controlled for. So many people have been trained in healthcare to go to someone because they will fix you, when in actuality, they just perpetuate the problem. Consider that the #1 most recommended treatment for piriformis, glute, hip, sciatica type problems, a pain right in the butt and maybe down the leg a little bit, is to stretch it out. So, if stretching doesn't work, do more stretching. And then sit on a tennis ball, buy this massage gun, foam roll it to death, whatever. Consider that treatment, doing that treatment, is actually the cause, and it's actually keeping you from healing. So again, people do more, they do everything. And because they do everything, they do nothing, and they get confused and they get lost, and they wonder why they can't heal. And they think that they've tried everything, but really they've tried nothing. So if you've watched my videos before, you've seen this, all right? We'll call this the ultimate healing scale, all right? On one side, we've got, you know, a big, ugly kind of frown face, a heavy one, an obese frown face, eating a lot of cupcakes or whatever, all right? On this side, we've got a very small, smiley face, all right? There are two ways to try to tip this scale. If this is pain, and this is healing, relief, happiness, whatever you want to call it, your problem is gone, you're back to life, all right? Everyone is trying to do this. They only see half the equation. They say, Charlie, what's the exercise? Charlie, what are you going to do to fix me? What's the, the hands-on treatment? Can you dig real deep in there? Everyone's gut, can you give me an injection? What's the MRI? Let's get an MRI. Everybody thinks they need a diagnosis first before they can go to PT or solve their problem. You're better off not getting one of those. It's just more confusion. All right? So everyone's operating on this end of the spectrum by trying to fatten this guy or girl, this smiley face up, but they're forgetting that there's something weighing it down, tethering it down like an anchor on the other end. And this is all the things that are making you feel worse. This is the gasoline on the fire. You can try to put out the fire, get a bigger water hose, things like that. But if you don't take the gasoline off it, you're going to struggle to find relief. So what could this be? This could be that you're doing things because you think that they're making you better because they hurt so good in the moment, but actually they're just making you weaker and worse. So it could be that, it's kind of counterproductive, the treatments that you're getting. Every time you go to the massage therapist or you sit on a tennis ball and they dig real deep, is that further aggravating your problem? We don't know. That's why the first step is to do nothing. Calm muddy waters. Stop all treatments. Stop all additives. If this is a salad, these are the nuts. These are the cranberries, the almonds, the salad dressing, the blueberries, all the additives. Start with just a blank salad, my friends, and get that first. Take away, heal by subtraction, everything that you're doing, and then what's left is we have an environment, we have a baseline symptom. And then what we need to figure out is, what can we optimize for on this side of the equation? By stopping some things, you'll see maybe this guy will actually get smaller because you're not aggravating it anymore. The other thing to consider is, what throughout your day are you doing to consistently aggravate your symptoms? Don't even worry about exercises yet. Because as we've seen, you can add, if this guy's 1,000 pounds, you can do 800 minutes or hours of exercise, and you're not going to be able to counteract this. So all the exercise in the world won't beat a yucky environment. And if it does, you're going to really struggle to beat it. You can't out-exercise. You can exercise all you want, but if you eat donuts all day, it's not going to help you. Same principle here. So hopefully that makes sense. All right? So you have to analyze the environment, say, what is potentially nicking the scab? So what I would do is I would take and I would map out, what you're doing throughout the day. I would take a journal and say, when I wake up, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12, you don't do this for the rest of your life, but just do it to start. And try to determine, when are my symptoms at their worst, and then what was I doing? Try to really hammer in on what's going on, the positions, the activities, right? Things like that. It could be really anything. You're just trying to zoom in and try to find a pattern there. And then you want to map that out. So this is how you kill this guy. We're not even that person yet. You want to map out your pain cycle. You've got a little journal, all right? You're writing all the things. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever. You're writing all those things. You're trying to get a sense for, why does this problem continue to cause me problems? Why does it continue to cause me pain? Right? If you nick a finger, give yourself a paper cut, that's going to heal within an hour, a few hours, a few days, right? At the worst. If you break a bone, it's going to heal in 3 months. If you herniate a disc, it's going to heal in 6 months. Why is it that so many women that I work with have this sciatic, buttock, glute, piriformis, hip type problem for years? That doesn't make sense. Now, if you have a paper cut, and every day when it starts to heal, you continue to nick it and scratch open the scab, well, it would make sense that it wouldn't heal. A year later, you wouldn't be concerned that it still wasn't healed, because you would have had a reason for that. That's a very obvious example, though. It's very clear what you're doing that prevents it from healing. It's often not very obvious and not very clear as to what you're doing to nick the scab such that you're not able to heal your butt, piriformis, glute, hip, sciatica type problem. So you really need to get down into the nitty-gritty of it. And there's really 2 ways to do it. Start thinking, start mapping out what you know currently. That's number one, mapping out your pain cycle. All right, step number one. We'll get to this in a minute. The second way to figure out what's keeping you yucky throughout the day and what about your environment is not conducive to healing is to use motion. We'll talk about that in a moment. The first thing is to map out your pain cycle. Time, pain. High pain, we'll call it a 10. Low pain or no pain, 0. I don't know, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make this go as long as you want. When you wake up, put a little dot at the level of pain you have. At 9 a.m., put a dot. At 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whatever. Connect the dots. Let's just say this is, I think I said 8 a.m. before. Let's just say this is 6 a.m., this is 12 p.m., and I don't know, this is 6 p.m. What does this tell you? You're yucky in the morning, a little bit. Then it gets a little better as you move about your day. You're yucky midday. Maybe as you're working or something, right? And then you feel better as the day goes on. So now, instead of being in your head and all emotional about your pain or your problem, you're mapping out your pain and you're making it objective. So now what do? You study the peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys. Your answer in healing, or at least a large percentage of it, lies here. In understanding why your pain fluctuates. It's not always easy to see a pattern, but if you do this for enough days, or maybe if you know right now, I wake up, Charlie, and my back or my leg or my butt's killing me. Or when I gotta drive to work, that's when it acts up. Or as I'm standing throughout the day for my job or whatever, then it really ticks things off. Document that and study the peaks and the valleys. What are you doing at those times, for better or for worse? And then you need to figure out how to cut those things off so that the peaks are not so peaky and the valleys are even deeper. You can do that using motion, or you can do that using strategies to tweak those things that are doing this. Maybe you sit slightly different. There are many ways to do that. Maybe you stand slightly different. Maybe you didn't even realize that the way that you stand or the way that you lift or the way that you do whatever is kind of funky. Maybe you do something different or unusual that you weren't even aware of. Maybe you have a habit of kind of sitting on your leg or crossing your leg a certain way or sleeping in a weird position. Whatever it may be, you need to try to correlate the problem. Once you clean all of that up and you minimize this as much as possible, you dampen this, you reduce the peaks and kind of deepen the valleys, then this side of the equation is as small as possible. You put that side of the equation on the diet. Then we can start to talk about exercise. But if your problem, so I said there are 2 ways to discover how to kind of put out the fire, put that guy on a diet, and optimize your healing environment so it's more conducive to healing and yes, yucky. Some people, they can do this and it's very clear. Other people are just like, Charlie, I can't figure out what's wrong with my problem. I can't figure out what makes it worse. It's completely random. And I say, no, it's probably not. It's possible, but usually not. So what else do you do if you're not sure of what's causing your problem? Start to scan your body. Start to use motion. Find a motion that hurts. So if you don't know what causes it throughout the day, you probably know of a motion that can reproduce your problem. Maybe it's when you pull your hip up to your chest, or when you do child's pose in yoga, or pigeon pose, or I don't know, when you're going up the stairs, or when you get up and push off of one leg, when you're doing lunges in a fitness class, or whatever it may be. When you find a motion, just move your body around. I don't even care. It doesn't even have to be some high-tech exam. Just move your body around in some way and find a motion that aggravates your symptoms. And then reverse engineer that and say, if bringing my knees, up to my chest, or child's pose, or pigeon pose, or stretching, doing figure 4 stretch in yoga bothers me, then what am I doing during my day that replicates or looks like or reminds me of that same motion? You really have to think about that. Oh, I sit and I put my feet up on a stool. I sit and I sit on my leg. I sit with my leg crossed and it looks like I'm stretching my piriformis. It hurts when I stretch my piriformis, but then I sit like that all day. I sleep and my leg falls across my body. It hurts when I, am touching my toes and bending forward. I feel a big pull in the back of my leg. So it hurts when I'm touching my toes. There you are, touching your toes. And it really bothers me at night. Then I go and I sit on the couch with my legs straight out in front of me in a 90-degree position. It's the same thing, same body position as touching your toes. That's some serious detective work, okay? But you have to be willing to do that work. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to be doing all this stuff to add. You're going to be doing everything. You're going to be trying everything, relying on someone else to fix you when you have your own solution right there in front of you. And you're going to say, Charlie, nothing works. Nothing is going to work. Nothing's going to heal the paper cut if you keep bending it all day, every day. Unfortunately, it's not that clear. But you can bring some clarity to it if you go through this process, all right? So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you can see the concepts behind that. And hopefully you can understand why so many treatments, which are passive, meaning you go to someone and they fix you. Traditional chiropractic, oftentimes physical therapy, massage therapy, they have limited value long term because you are not empowered and educated to solve your own problem. So, it's time to start to think outside the box. If you've been trying things over and over again and they're not working, and you're expecting a different result, that's called insanity. That's not your fault. That's generally the fault of the practitioners that you've seen who haven't really done the detective work to try to bring you as much relief as possible. So again, Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist here. Visit www.calldrc.com to set up a pain-free, 30-minute free pain-free planning session with me where we chat about where you want to go, so we figure out what your goals are. We go through a 5-point symptom inspection, how this started, how long it's been going on, what makes it better, what makes it worse, all of this stuff, right? And then we uncover your back to normal blind spots, so we figure out where you're stuck, and we develop a plan, a roadmap to relief to get you back to normal. Again, visit www.calldrc.com to set that up. Really look forward to helping you out, and hopefully this was helpful. Thanks.